So I got new blood work done as of just last month, and I'm don't want to preempt anything, but this one's a little bit different because I was cutting quite a bit into the dieting phase, of course. So we'll preface it with that, but there's a lot of experiments that I did on this to literally see what will happen, to hopefully gain knowledge from, and I think I gained quite a bit from this. So we'll cover a lot of things on that as we go through it. Jameson, do you have that pulled up as well? The blood work.
Blood work.
Yeah, get that pulled up so we can follow along. But I will share the screen with
It's
y'all.
like MGK and Megan Fox. Yes, show me your blood work.
Oh yeah, yeah. They look like vampires.
Yeah,
sure.
That's why the vampire communities reached out to them.
I mean, I like Megan Fox for sure, but MGK not.
My
so
friend
much.
says Megan Fox is a dude, so I don't know. I'm avoiding.
I don't mind that. She's still hot.
Kim Petras.
Yeah, I mean, Kim Petras just needs to tone it down with the whatever she's eating. But she could still be hot. Anyways, so this is my blood work. Of course, this is the new that I got done at the end of April. So I went in. This is, of course, done by a actual booth that I met at FitCon, and it's called Transcend. And what they do is TRT and hormone therapy. And I'll explain more as we go on. But so not too much here. The first things you'll see are the metabolic panel with my BUN and creatinine, which are both high.
Creatinine's pretty high there, my boy.
Yeah. And so anyone supplementing with creatine and training often, your creatinine will likely be pretty high. And for this reason, a lot of people should stop training for like 5 days leading up to a blood test. But I'm like, nah, bro. So it's, it's not a big issue with what I'm trying to test. Other than that, everything organ-wise was looking good. So let's move on to the next page. So nothing stands out until cholesterol.
Hey.
So
better than mine.
Surprisingly, I mean, so HDL 76, that's really good.
That's amazing. Holy smokes.
So that's a good indicator of lifestyle. And LDL is higher, for sure. It's just slightly elevated. And
that's good for you.
Get this, when I was on the phone with the guy, he told me to lower the saturated fat, which is like, hey, okay, I got you. That can definitely help if I'm also eating like shit, like it's shitty saturated fat. Right. But he recommended me 2 oils. Now, do you want to take a guess on what those oils
are? No, Daddy, no.
So,
he recommended you 2 oils. I guess that's...
It's not the C word.
Canola? Oh, thank God.
So you got one. Oh, sunflower was one of them. And the one I was most astounded by.
Soybean.
No, but that would have been really bad too. This is like 3rd worst oil I think you could recommend for a man. No, that's pretty generalized, like canola. It was flaxseed oil. Yeah. So for the video I'll be editing, which I have the phone on speaker and stuff. I like just looked at the camera and I'm like, what? So for those of y'all don't know, flaxseed oil, not great for T levels or even flax seeds in general, and anything oil, highly concentrated. So he recommended me get some more PUFAs in my diet, which,
get those PUFAs in, boy.
It's,
you just told me taking cod liver oil, okay?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's what I think this could be. The LDL could be from cod liver oil, like being a little bit elevated. But even regardless, it's no worry because you'll see I got C-reactive protein and the inflammation in my body's super low. So this cholesterol is not even an issue. So let's go continuing down. So we have LH, which is at 6.6, which is signaling to the balls to produce more testosterone.
The balls.
And it's in a good range. It's pretty elevated. Usually you don't want it to go too high. You want it to be in a good middle range. FSH is fine. It's, it's at the lower end, but it's all right. Now, testosterone. So total testosterone came in at 861, which I was super surprised at. It's, I think it could be because I'm deeper into my cut and body fat percentage. Don't know. but it's still really good. But it's
True.
definitely not 990 like it was last year. And the plot thickens as we go further. So
Most men would kill for 861.
yeah, it's still really, really good naturally, for sure. And it's like I'd say anyone above like 750, you're in an amazing range. So still really good. But free testosterone came in at 17.2, and I'm pissed that they didn't have SHBG measured because that's specifically what I've been trying to get at for a long time. So,
They forgot.
well, I asked and they said that they would measure it, but I look at the panel that they order when I get there for the overview, and it's like, it's not there. And I just didn't want to deal with it. And I'm like, well, at least they measure free testosterone at all, because a lot don't. So it's still in a middle range. So I would say I probably still have elevated SHBG to an extent, not insanely high because it's still in the middle range of free, but it's in a good spot nonetheless. But I will definitely get SHBG again relatively soon and probably not work through these guys. But other than that, let's see. So we continue on. We'll go to thyroid. Everything else is good. PSA, prostate is good. Let's go to thyroxine T4 free direct. So that's pretty good. So the thyroid hormone T4 needs to be converted into an active state, which is T3. And that's what actually stimulates your metabolic system in a way. So that's in a fine range. But you look at going to TSH, since we'll look at thyroid first. TSH is high. It's at an 8, and the top is 4.5. So what this means is my brain is trying to stimulate my thyroid gland into working and producing T4 and T3. So it's having to signal or stimulate even harder because it's not happening. And one of the things I realized looking at my past blood work, I always thought I got thyroid checked, but I didn't until now. So even me having a six-pack now, I technically could be diagnosed with subclinical hypothyroid, like a low metabolic rate. So that's crazy. I don't know. This could be from being in a cut too. It's tough to say. Or I could have always had some thyroid, like underactive thyroid. I have no clue. And some insight. I know you know iodine is super important. Same with selenium for thyroid function. And I've of course been eating oysters, which are high in selenium and zinc and iodine even, and also replaced my real salt with iodized salt about 4 months ago. So there's no issue, at least from a micronutrient standpoint, on why I can't convert enough T3 because I have the building blocks to do so.
Right.
So this is interesting to me. So I looked further and I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck else am I experimenting with? And I realized L-carnitine, which we brought up on the last pod. L-carnitine prevents uptake of thyroid hormones.
Hey.
So it's really interesting because I've delved deep into the research since this, because it's obviously so fascinating. But from there, I realized if your body's primarily burning fat, then your thyroid will be underactive for a period of time. And if you're indulging in carbohydrates enough, then your kind of the gear system that you're shifting with in your metabolism and your thyroid is using thyroid to metabolize glucose. So this is why people on keto also get kind of underactive thyroid. But I think because I was mega dosing L-carnitine so hard, it threw off my thyroid is what I'm thinking.
There.
So be careful with that if you have underactive thyroid and are supplementing with L-carnitine. And kind of crazy because I've been doing L-carnitine for the androgen receptor density experiment, but that's hard to measure. I don't even think there's really a way to do androgen receptor density unless you're getting biopsies. So regardless of all that nerd shit, let's continue. And also, I will say, if you have a hyperactive thyroid and you're a quote unquote hard gainer, but you should get your thyroid checked and check and make sure that if it is overactive, you can deal with that. And L-carnitine is a solution for hyperactive thyroid. So that can be an option for you perhaps. But in my case, if you're low thyroid, stay the hell away from L-carnitine, especially in high doses. So next, let's go to DHEA, which is super high. And DHEA is super high because I've been supplementing DHEA. And I've been supplementing it to experiment with people saying if you take too much DHEA, it'll convert straight to estrogen. So with that in mind, we look at my estradiol, and it's in a really good spot, actually, like right in the middle of the range, 26. Now, in the past, I will divulge just in 2021, my estradiol was a 53.9, which is above the range.
I know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was elevated along with my testosterone, so it's not bad per se. It's following along with it being high. But that is something that was a dramatic change from last year's results, is my estradiol being right in the middle of the range instead of being elevated. So my testosterone to estrogen ratio has gotten even better, and I don't have any issues either way, because that's the main thing. You don't want to crush your estrogen or estradiol. But another thing that I had done, so taking DHEA aside, being super high as fuck and not raising my estrogen at all, that goes to show if you have a good diet, good lifestyle, and aren't excessively fat, like you don't have a lot of excess fat, then you will not convert as much testosterone or DHEA into estradiol. So that's kind of a myth from what I'm guessing from my results. But beyond that, last year I did a lot of sushi. I ate sushi like at least 3 times a week. And I will admit, indulged in soy sauce with it, the packets that it comes with. So
Kikoman?
Yeah, it was just the Kikoman in the little plastic little packets. And I put that on my sushi a lot. I love a lot of saltiness. So I also attribute partially my estradiol lowering because I've not been eating sushi at all since the beginning of this year, basically. Maybe once or twice for this whole 5 months. So the soy, I mean, I think that's definitely something to look at. So, it wasn't to the point where it was bad with any things that I had going on, but it's definitely noteworthy. So, moving on from there, C-reactive protein is a measure of inflammation. That was really low, like 0.59, and the max is a 3. So even considering I'm training, still really low. So very good. And that's it, ultimately, for that. So really interesting findings. And yeah, I was expecting my T to be super high because of how I was feeling. But at the same time, I do have some underactive thyroid symptoms, like my feet just being super cold.
Oh, interesting.
And really feeling low energy, even though I sleep like 8 hours. So there is that, and I'll be taking care of that the ancestral route by eating some
raw liver, brother.
Thyroid.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so I'll be experimenting with that.
Good man.
And yeah, so we went over my results, and the dude still wanted me to be on TRT. Like,
wait, why?
I don't know why.
Listen, bro, your thyroid, so I'm gonna put you on some TRT, thyroid replacement therapy.
No, he wrote up a huge list of stuff. Like, let me see. Like, I'll go
Sesame
over
oil or sunflower oil.
Oh well, not even that. He was literally just prescribing me a bunch of excess shit. So
damn,
I'll share this with the stream and explain it to you, at least to the point that I can understand. So first thing, he told me that this would be testosterone with HCG to still, quote unquote, keep my natural production going with the HCG.
Oh, yeah.
Which it's really not, because it's circumventing your LH and, it's signaling to your balls to produce more, but still you're bludgeoning your system with testosterone as well. Mm-hmm. So he has both of those. And the amount of this quote, $14,000, $474.46.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
So he wanted to. Well, so that's, I guess, not fully accurate, but he put on a bunch of these things on the quote and then said, okay, basically choose what you want to use. This is all the things I recommend. And the total was that, but I wouldn't
Jeez.
pick everything, you know, even if I wanted to go on it. So aside from that, like he wanted to put me on like growth hormone stuff, and it's a lot of shit I just don't know because these are very, you know, they're compounds I wouldn't mess with at all because they totally just circumvent your system. So he put so much shit on there, like vitamin D3 drops, even though we didn't test vitamin D. So weird.
You just need these anyway, brother. Everyone takes them. I don't care what your levels are.
Yeah.
I don't care.
He also he quoted up an omega-3 and D3 60-day supply, like separate. I don't know why. And then vitamin B12 drops. We didn't get B12 tested, and I sure as fuck am not deficient in B12. But he didn't ask me about my diet. So yeah, he didn't even ask me any of these questions. He's just like, well, let's throw in vitamin B12 drops because it'll be $163 worth of vitamin B12
that's so
drops.
sad. People who like come to this thinking that like this is what they need, and then they just take all these things, and then they're hurting themselves more than they're helping.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he did like a multivitamin, something that was like a
multivitamin. Put that in there too.
So, I mean, of course he's trying to just make as much money as possible, but for him to tell me that I need to be on TRT after that, it's like, no.
Yeah, and no.
Like, dude, there's literally no reason whatsoever. So this is, I mean, I hate to say it, but this is literally just legalized steroids to an extent at this point. And
that's why it's got all that cash.
Yeah, it's just crazy shit. So so that's my results. That's what happened, and we'll move on from there.